Learn all about living in Playa del Carmen, Mexico from Cyndra Schultz in this video interview with expats in Mexico. Why did you move to Playa del Carmen specifically rather than some other area in Mexico?
Playa del Carmen was attractive because of its small town, similar to Durban. The beach life, the nature, and a lot of expats here. So we sort of moved towards people that spoke English because our Spanish is shocking. We're getting there.
Unfortunately, like most expats.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest challenges living in Mexico. So yeah, I came to Playa del Carmen with the kids, and we had a look around, and we spent a few days here and fell in love with it. So that's why, unfortunately for my husband, he still works in Mexico City. He comes home on Fridays and goes back to work on Mondays.
There's a big expat community there. Is it made up of a number of people from around the world?
Yes, a lot of people from the States, and then obviously Europe. You've got a lot of German communities, a lot from South America. But mostly I've met people from the States and from Canada. We have the snowbirds, so the Canadians come down normally this time of year. And yeah, and the best part is all the cuisine, the restaurants. We have French food and Italian and all the bakeries, the German bakeries. And so it's really interesting.
Well, it sounds like a really international community.
It is, yes.
So, does the community cater very much to the expat community? Is that the reason why they have French restaurants, or is it because of the international tourism, or both?
I think a lot of it's the tourism. I think yes, that's mostly what the businesses here survive on. But yes, the expats love it because of that as well. We have a lot of diversity.
What do you like about living in Playa del Carmen? What are some of the top things that you like about living there?
Definitely the beach. Definitely the beach.
Well, you were raised as a beach girl, right?
Yeah, no, and this is amazing. I mean, the beautiful white sand and clear waters, and it's so warm. But we've had a few problems the past few months with the sargasso. I don't know if you've read anything about it, but a lot of the algae was washing up onto the beach. I think it affected a lot of businesses here as well because the tourism dropped. But it's cleared up again, luckily, with the season change. So the beaches are looking beautiful. And the nature here, the bird life and the animals, it's just... It inspires you to get outside and enjoy it.
Well, as a photographer, you mentioned that you do a lot of wildlife photography. What kind of wildlife do you normally photograph?
Well, in South Africa, I was spoiled because we lived in a safari park.
Oh,
so
wow!
We had the zebra and the giraffe and wildebeest and a whole lot of antelope there. So it was wonderful to watch them and spend time with them. And then bird life as well. So yeah, I've been outside photographing birds, and we have quatimundis and agoutis, funny little rodents, and all sorts of little creatures. I also enjoy macro photography, so anything small and interesting. Because it's been a bit limited here compared to South Africa. Since I've started scuba diving, I've also, as I told you, I've just bought an underwater camera and started exploring.
Wow, that's great.
Been easy. Yeah, I have new respect for underwater photographers. It's really difficult, but lots of fun. Yeah, lots of new creatures, and yeah, we're learning a lot.
Well, it sounds like you love it there.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It has its challenges, but
what are some of the challenges?
The challenges are definitely the language, just in day-to-day living with your services and that. And then also the social side of it. There isn't that much for normal day-to-day life socially, for the kids, the extramurals and the sports, because Playa is focused on tourism. So everything is quite expensive, and you have to do tours and things like that. But yeah, we have to balance it out. And
Where do the kids go to school?
they were my eldest daughter, my 14-year-old, is being homeschooled at the moment. Both my kids were at a school called International School of Playa del Carmen. It's a small school, but it had 50% bilingual, so it worked well for them.
Sure.
But the education here isn't that great, if I can be honest with you.
So even the private international school wasn't quite up to your standard.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that we were spoiled in South Africa, because I haven't traveled anywhere else, so I have nothing else to compare it to. But my 14-year-old is an academic, and she enjoys being challenged academically. So we decided to put her in an online school from the States, and she's doing really well, and she's enjoying it.
Which one did you select?
Laurel School.
Laurel
Spring School. Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you renting your home, or did you buy a home?
No, we're renting. We haven't decided yet if this is where we want to put our roots down. So yeah, we're renting for now.
What does your house look like? What is it? How big is it? And what does it look like? And how many bedrooms? And
it's a 3-bedroom house in Playa del Carmen, which is like a gated community. A lot of expats and that here. And it's got a little garden with lovely trees. It backs onto the Hard Rock golf course. So it's lovely for nature. We have white-tailed deer that walk around, and kautimundis. So we have a lot of wildlife around here. We have 2 dogs and 2 cats that we brought over from South Africa. So yes, it's a really nice environment.
Well, that must have been interesting at the airport with 2 dogs and cats.
Yeah, we got someone to fly them over for us, a company, because yes, the logistics are insane. Shame, but it was really traumatic for them, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
But it's so great to have your animals with you, huh?
Yes, it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me ask you how much you're paying a month for your rent.
55,000 pesos a month. So it's expensive here. That's it. And it's also for security, and, seeing that my husband travels a lot, we wanted somewhere that we could just relax and not have to worry about.
So there's a guard at the gate?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's really important.
Yeah.
What about the rest of your cost of living? How does it compare, for example, when you were living in South Africa? Is higher, lower, about the same?
I think it's higher where we are. Even in Mexico City, the cost of living was higher. I mean, there the rentals were really high if you wanted a house. Obviously, apartment living was ideal there because it was a bit cheaper. But we couldn't make such a huge adjustment. We tried to keep things comfortable for the kids and having the animals around and trying to keep lifestyle similar to South Africa.
Sure.
But otherwise, everything else seems to be very similar with the cost of living, the food and appliances, things like that. It hasn't been a huge adjustment for us.
What's your most expensive out of pocket? Is it electricity, or is it something else? Yeah.
Electricity.
Yeah.
This area is crazy. We pay about 10,000 pesos a month for electricity because the air conditioning is running a lot. It's really hot and humid here. So if you don't keep the house cool, everything starts growing and sweating, and it's just, you have mildew and things like that to worry about. So electricity here is really, apparently they have, they've set out news of decreasing it in Quintana Roo. So we're really happy to hear that. But yeah, electricity and rent is probably the highest out of pocket.
What about the rest? Your cost of food, for example?
Food it's not too bad. It's more or less the same as what we were used to in South Africa. There's a lot of small tianguis here where you can buy fresh vegetables, and meat is a little bit expensive, but it's not anything, exorbitant. It's really, everything is affordable.
You can eat very well in Mexico for very little.
Definitely.
How about eating out? What types of restaurants do you go to, and are they pretty reasonably priced?
Yes, very reasonably priced. If you stay away from Fifth Avenue. So we go to local Mexican restaurants. We love the seafood as well, and Italian pasta, definitely.
What about culture shock? Did you experience any culture shock when you first arrived in Mexico?
Definitely.
What
It
what
was.
what were the things that you found that were really different and you found difficult adjusting to?
Um, Let me think. I think mainly the food was difficult to adjust to. The food is really different, and in the States there's a lot of Mexican food, but so people that come over from the States are sort of used to it. When you come from South Africa, you think you know what a quesadilla is, but you have no idea. Or taco. It's everything was brand new. Just going to the supermarket and trying to find things that were familiar was really difficult. From cheese to washing liquid, just everything was brand new for us.
You could have used somebody as a concierge to help you integrate into Mexico, right?
We should have. In hindsight, that would have been definitely worth it. Although in Mexico City, I had a driver because I was terrified of driving, and he spoke great English, and he was a good help. So he showed me around, went downtown. I ended up falling in love with downtown Mexico City. It's beautiful and it's got so much history. And obviously learning, the language, learning a bit of Spanish by talking to him. Yeah, so he was really helpful with that, like submersion.
Do you have a car in Playa del Carmen?
Yes, yeah,
You
and
do.
I'm driving. Yeah,
Oh, great. Okay.
yeah, I'm driving.
Did you
Not so scary.
did you bring a car over from South Africa or did you buy one there?
No, we bought one here. Yeah.
Okay, and it was a reasonably priced.
Yes, it's reasonably priced. It wasn't any different to South African cost, really.
What about your insurance? Is it reasonably priced also?
It's
Coverage?
also perfect. Yeah, the company covers our medical insurance, so we have no worries there. Car insurance, everything is more or less the same. Yeah.
Have you been able to develop local friends there outside of the expat community?
Yes, I have quite a few friends that are Mexican. Funny enough, I've seemed to feel more comfortable with Mexican friends. I don't know if it's because of being a mom and at the school. You sort of socialize with the parents of the kids that your kids play with. So yes, so I have, and I think it's fantastic because in Mexico City, you feel like you're in Mexico. In Playa del Carmen, it's really different. You don't have the same feel. So to be able to have Mexican friends means a lot to me because I'm keeping in with the culture and still learning.
Are most of them fluent in English? Your friends,
Not
Mexican friends?
yes, most of them are. Most of them speak great English. Some of them don't, and it's difficult when you really get on well with someone and you're trying to have a great conversation and it's hindered. But I'm still learning, and I think that's part of the process.
So you're learning through osmosis. Are you planning on taking any Spanish lessons?
I was taking lessons since we arrived. I had a tutor and then had a break from it for a while. And then when I came to Playa, I started lessons again. And I think it's important because I want to understand what my children are saying. Because my youngest
That
one
helps.
speaks fluently. Yeah. Yeah, they've really, what kids are like, they're just sponges. And my youngest daughter has only got Mexican friends and she's thriving. So it's great.
So what do you think are the advantages of living in Mexico and specifically Playa del Carmen?
I think it's just learning about the world out there. Coming from South Africa, it's a very what do you call it? I'm thinking of the word. Conservative community, and you don't realize it when you're living there. But as soon as you get out into the world, like what we've done, it's just wow. And just to learn how living in Playa has been great to learn about the States. You know, when you in South Africa, we're not exposed to much there. Well, we weren't growing up. You know, now it's obviously more advanced. But I knew nothing about the United States or Canada or even South America or Mexico, obviously. So it's been great for me, and to see my kids learning so much and meeting kids from all over the world. And I know they're going to grow up with these friendships, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Playa?
Just over a year. We moved in the 1st of June last year. So, yeah, just over a year.
Is this a place that you would consider putting down roots, or?
I'm not too sure, because with my oldest daughter moving into high school next year, and I'm sure she's going to start looking at universities. That's the discussion we're having at the moment is what do we do? Do we look at the States, perhaps just for her future? I don't know if I want to be here while she's gallivanting in the United States in university.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So, Cyndra, what advice would you give to someone thinking about moving down to Playa del Carmen?
My advice would be, let's see, make sure that you enjoy hot weather because it is hot all year round, really. There's no winter here, which is great if you're coming from a cold country, but the summers are really hot. I think just if you're ready for a change of a crazy lifestyle, if you come here, it's laid back. Everyone is relaxed. You wear shorts and flip-flops every day. You don't have to worry about anything. It really is bliss. It's like an island lifestyle, but not on an island. It's just the people are friendly. Everyone's on a bicycle. You can get around easily. But also, it's very touristy, so you got to be prepared for busy Decembers and spring breaks and summer times. But otherwise, yeah, the nature, the people, the food, it's really great. So I think the most is, yeah, the weather and the cost of living, obviously.
Well, we're all on our way to visit you.
Yay! Great.
Hey, it's been delightful speaking with you today, Cyndra.
Oh, thank you so much, Bob. It's been really great to chat to you.